All right, let's talk about that Dallas police officer, Darron Burks, who got shot and killed last week. Um, Obviously on the job, it was an ambush shooting. This one was pretty sad in my opinion. This one, you know, he didn't see it coming, just sitting in his car, and basically got assassinated in a sense. But more than that, he really just, based on what I had read, he just quit his job as a teacher, and they'll explain all this here in a minute. But he was new to being a police officer. He had a calling that took him out of education into law enforcement, and unfortunately was gunned down. It's just, it's a pretty sad story. I want to first say my condolences to the Burks family. These aren't the types of things that we want to see, and yeah. So let's just get into it. Y'all let me know what y'all think. All right, it's Ricky Rich with Black Primacy. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notifications.
Is in mourning. One officer is dead, two others wounded after being attacked last night. Two of those officers were rookies.
Yeah, the shooting happened in the 900 block of East Ledbetter in the parking lot of the 4 Oak Cliff Community Center. The officer who was killed may not have had any idea he was going to take gunfire. He was seated in his squad car. Fox 4's Sean Rabb joins us in the newsroom with more on what we know right now. Sean?
Yes, Blake. First, those two wounded officers, one shot in the face, the other's wound not as severe in the lower extremities. The fallen officer is Darron Burks, who grew up here in North Texas and touched many lives before his was snatched away. Sources say the suspect may actually have said something to the officer before he fired on him, as you said, sitting in his squad car. Scores of officers, shook by 3 fellow officers being shot, gather at Methodist Hospital in the pre-dawn hours, where new police officer Darron Burks was brought after being ambushed as he sat in his police vehicle in the 900 block of East Ledbetter a little after 10 Thursday night. The shooting, senseless to the entire police community.
Why are we dying at the hands of a person and we're not even in conflict with you? You don't even know me. You don't know any of these officers, but you go into combat with an officer? You blindsided? That's terrible.
Burks was able to somehow transmit over his radio after being shot. Backup showed up. Another rookie and her field training officer. Both were shot. The female officer more serious, taken to Baylor Hospital. Either she or her training officer may have been able to return gunfire, possibly hitting the suspect, who took off in a white sedan with more officers in chase. Part of that captured by TxDOT cameras along I-35 North in Louisville. The suspect stopped on the freeway and got out.
When that suspect exited that vehicle, he had a long gun. Dallas police officers then shot at the suspect, fired at the suspect, and he died at that scene.
Officer Darron Burks graduated Lake Highlands High School in Richardson in 1998. Later, continuing his education at Paul Quinn College.
Yeah, he was part of the first graduating class when I became president in 2007.
Quinn president, Dr. Michael Sorrell.
Darron was a loved member of this community. He was a wonderful fraternity member to his brothers at Omega Psi Phi. He was a wonderful alum of Paul Quinn. He invested in his institution, and we will miss him. We will honor his memory, and we are grateful that we knew him for the time we had him. We just wish we had him for longer.
Burks shaped young minds at Texan Can Academy, where he taught math 17 years, all before a different calling with Dallas Police. The school sharing, he was not only an excellent educator, but a mentor to countless students and a cherished friend to the entire Pleasant Grove educational community.
He was a salt of the earth, fundamentally good brother. This is one of those pains that will not go away anytime soon.
With 2 officers suffering gunshot wounds and a city in mourning for Officer Darron Burks, who entered the Dallas Police Academy last year, Sheldon Smith, Black Police Association, says it's time to remind that police lives matter too.
And the person that would risk his life for you, drive 100 miles an hour to get to you to help you, never met you in your entire life, but they'll risk their lives for you. You shoot and kill him?
So we'll know more about the incident, how it played out, in about an hour when Chief Eddie Garcia holds that media briefing. We should also then learn something about the man who killed one officer and tried to kill two others. Sad, sad story.
It is indeed. All right, so Sean, Officer Burks, he was riding in his car alone.
And Sean, obviously we'll expect to learn more soon, but kind of explain what we know about the dynamic, why he would have been alone, other officers may have arrived on scene together.
So not uncommon for officers on patrol to be what they call a one-man element or in a squad car by themselves. Unless they're on assignment, unless they're doing some undercover, most officers ride solo. When you see two officers like the ones who responded, it's typically a field training officer and a rookie.
All right, and of course, we're going to continue to follow this throughout our early block and late block of news and online as well. Sean, thank you.
All right.
Well, this morning,
Yeah, sad story. Let me see if I can pull up because I queued this up a while ago. Video shows police take down after 3 officers were shot. I don't want to see that, but this is the. I don't know if you guys can see. Maybe I'll just Google it. The there it is, Darron Burks. The person that shot him, unfortunately. I know there was a video somewhere. Of course, they don't have his picture up. There was a video somewhere stating that the individual, I guess the parents were maybe I can find it. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Dallas Police Department is.
I guess the parents were apologizing and speaking out on oh, here goes a full interview. I don't want to take up. I don't want to do a 17-minute video. Yeah, most of the videos are really about Darron Burks, but which it should be, right? Okay.
and we want to update our top story now. We're learning more about the suspect in last night's shooting that killed one Dallas police officer and wounded 2 others. The fallen officer, Darron Burks, was shot in his patrol car last night while parked outside of a community center in Oak Cliff. They say the suspect, Corey Cobb, was looking to murder an officer and alluded to plans on social media. The police chief called the killing an execution. Responding officers exchanged gunfire with the shooter, and 2 of the officers were wounded. 1 of them is out of the hospital. The other still recovering in a hospital. Fox 4's Sean Rabb following those developments. He joins us from the newsroom with the very latest. Sean.
Yeah, and some of what the chief was talking about as it relates to Corey Cobb, we learned that today through his social media. Need to update you about this man who shot 3 officers, killing 46-year-old Darron Burks. He again is identified as Corey Cobb, a 30-year-old man. This bookend photo is from 2017. Arrest for traffic violations, failure to ID, giving a false name. We could find no record of violent acts before now. Cobb, according to
thing is, he don't look wrapped too tight. Right? I mean, never, they always say don't judge a book by its cover, but for some reason, whenever I see these types of stories and then they show the person, and like they said, this is from 2017, before he even had anything that he was at least charged with, convicted with, or that was documented, right? And he's just looking crazy, man. Just
to his social media, identifies as a Moorish American national. That's a population of the people that considers themselves to be sovereign and immune from U.S. laws. Now, Cobb posted videos, and the chief talked about this, of his approaching undercover officers, talking to them, questioning them at times about what they're doing and why they're in certain places, using his cell phone. He approached Darron Burks, who was sitting in his squad car in the 900 block of East Ledbetter, East Oak Cliff, Thursday night, a little after 10 p.m. Chief Garcia again says it was not an ambush, but that the officers were targeted.
Officer Burks was executed. Our preliminary investigation has determined that on Thursday, August 29th at 10:02 p.m., the suspect, identified as 30-year-old Corey Cobb Bay, a black male, arrived in the 900 block of East Ledbetter Drive and parked his white Buick. At 10:04, Officer Burks arrived at the location and parked near the front entrance of the building between call assignments. Cobb Bay approached Officer Burks and talked with him briefly through the driver's side window as he recorded the encounter with a cell phone. The suspect then pulled out a handgun and executed Officer Burks as he sat in his vehicle.
The chief spoke with both of the wounded officers today, along with the mother of Darron Burks, and visited with officers at the South Central substation where Darron Burks worked. Clearly, the chief, with the range of understandable emotions after the events of last night, and he talked about how, as officers responded, this man, Corey Cobb Bay, took a shotgun and opened fire on those officers, striking a female officer, Officer David, in the face, and Officer Farmer in the leg. The chief said it was clear we almost lost 3 officers last night, and he was thankful that those 2 officers survived, but clearly the department, the chief, the city, hurting. Blake.
Yeah, a lot still to figure out in the investigation as well. Sean.
Yeah, sad story. Yeah, terrible situation. Again, my condolences to the Burks family. Yeah, just straight execution style. Kind of set him up with, probably some friendly conversation, thinking, maybe not even so much friendly, but, probably had the officer thinking that, here's another guy just, wanting to get some footage on police activity, and then set him up. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. Definitely don't want to see anything like this. I know, especially with the black community, we all know that situations with police are always a high tense situation, whether you're just getting pulled over to get a regular traffic ticket, or even just being around police a lot of the time. For many of us in the black community, creates an anxious situation, and just the whole conversation around police officers and the black community has been pretty stressful to say the least over the last few years, for sure, since the George Floyd murder and such. But this definitely is not something that I would condone, for sure. Just running up on random police officers and taking them out. It's just a terrible situation. Terrible. But y'all let me know what y'all think, all right? It's Ricky Rich with Black Primacy. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notifications.